As students, we all face unique challenges in our personal lives, academics, career, and relationship with peers. But the good news is that you are not alone. In this podcast, we'll bring you expert advice and personal stories from students' perspective on how to navigate the ups and downs of student life. From managing time and overcoming fatigue after school, to dealing with drama, prep prayer, finding your own mark, we cover it all. Because let's be real, we're all living in a real life high school musical, only without the music. So sit back and let us have a chat about all things that make students' life unforgettable. After all, we're all in this together. Hello, it's Emerald Olauye here. Welcome to another episode of this podcast. Hope you're good. Hope you're doing fine. Hope you are alright. How is school treating you? How is academics and family? It's so unlike our routine to ask such questions, but today is going to be an exception because we are treating a very unique topic today, and I hope you all enjoy it. Yes, today we're talking about depression. Well, we're not actually talking about depression, but we will be talking towards something that is related to depression. Today, I want to advise anybody listening to this podcast, you especially, to please try and check up on a student immediately after listening to this podcast. Just call any friend of yours that is a student, tell him or her that everything is going to be fine. Just motivate them, because a lot is happening to students right now with the recent hike in school fees, recent hike in transport fares, recent hike in, the amount of goods and services, recent hike in everything. Yes, everything is now inflated. And the funny thing is that the resources to get those things remains the same. The total income, the total allowance of students are the same, and everything we get with the allowance has skyrocketed. Everything is now high, everything is now expensive. Life is now expensive for students. Well, even more expensive for those living around school, because these traders, they reduce the quantity of everything. They reduce the quantity of all their goods, except the ones with general price and quantity, like rice, beans, and other stuffs. But this vegetable or other things like meat, vegetable, and all those things, they reduce the quantity and increase the price. For those of you living in school area or around the school, I feel for you. Yes, actually feel for you. Today's episode is, I'm not going to actually talk about anything, but I would like to share a story of a student that recently encountered a problem, and I just actually feel for him, and just use this opportunity. Yes, use this opportunity, because I actually feel very bad and sad right now. I wanted to use this opportunity to, if you have a friend that is going through a lot, just call them, show them love. If you have some resources that you could share, please kindly share with them. Recently, I had the opportunity of listening to a student that shared his experience with me. He was unable to pay his accommodation fee in full, and the mom of his roommate would call him and say a lot of hard and harsh words, bad words to him. She would nag a lot, comment on his status, call him and insult him. It's not even his fault though. I feel like the other parent went overboard by calling him and insulting him. Though it is only one side of the story that I've had the opportunity of listening to, but the fact that a parent would call a student an insult, say a lot of harsh and bad words to a student, somebody that is young enough to be your last born, and you don't even have this sympathy or this empathy to pity, and the next thing you can do is insult and say a lot of bad words to somebody like that is really disheartening. And I feel very bad when I heard this story. It's really disappointing. Please, if you have any friend or anybody going through a time, please just show a little love, show a little compassion, show a little bit of encouragement, make them feel loved. Tell them that they are not alone, because students are now committing suicide. Students are dying all over universities in Nigeria presently because of depressions. It might not seem like it's logical, but when you think about it, when you put yourself in their shoes, you can actually feel what they feel. And for somebody that is almost preparing for its exam around that time and now having issue with his roommate's mom, it's really out of the line. The main objective of this podcast today is just to tell you, anybody listening to this podcast, whenever you are listening to it, if you have anybody, just call any of your friends, give them encouraging words, motivate them, tell them not to give up, tell them a solution will come. Don't give promises, but find a way to encourage them. A little kind gesture would go a long way, a very long way. So please remember to share this episode. Depression is very real. Students are committing suicide. Remember that depression is very real and it is not written on the face of anybody going through it. So please share this podcast. Show a little love to any of your friends that might be going through a rough patch, and I hope that this podcast gets through to somebody, saves somebody's lives, and just help share this message. I'll be really glad if this message can impact the life of a lot of students that are going to listen. And thank you guys for listening to this episode of our podcast. I'll see you next time. Ciao.